So let's talk about the 10 myths about credit. Myth number one, the credit reporting agencies are empowered by some type of government authority. And some folks go as far as giving them a nickname by calling them the credit bureaus. Believe it or not, they have no type of government relationship at all. They're simply privately owned companies. They care nothing about you, and they solely in the business off of selling your personal information. So for an example, I see a lot of folks when they apply for a loan, they'll get all of these pre-qualification letters in the mail from Capital One and Discover and other type of credit card companies and other type of loan institutions. And the first thing they'll think is that my score must be improving. Well, it's not. It's because TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian sells your information to these companies, and they'll say, give this person a pre-qualification letter because they're applying for credit. Now, the catch to it is that when you do apply for this loan and you get it improved, if your credit score is not high, you're going to pay a high interest rate. So let's move on to the second myth. The second myth is that the credit reporting agencies are required by law to keep derogatory items on your credit report for 7 to 10 years. Well, it's actually a myth. There's no law that states that the credit reporting agencies has to report anything at all. It's actually the opposite. The credit reporting agencies are supposed to remove derogatory items like late payments, collections, and charge-off in 7 years. In the case of a bankruptcy, it's actually supposed to be 10 years. Now, the third myth is it impossible to get a bankruptcy off your credit report? You know, most people think that's a myth. Think that's true. Well, the reality is a bankruptcy can come off your credit report just like anything else that's misleading, not being reported in a timely manner, or cannot be verified. You see, under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, it states that anytime a creditor or any institution reports anything of yours at all to any one of the credit reporting agencies, they're supposed to verify it. And 8 times out of 10, they never do it. So the fourth common myth is the information on your credit report cannot be changed. Well, that's also a myth too. The reality is that the opposite is true under the Fair Credit Reporting Act. You see, both federal and state laws require that items be removed if they're not 100% accurate or cannot be verified in a timely manner, which is usually 30 to 45 days. So the fifth myth is it illegal or immoral to have the information on your credit report altered or removed? Well, not only is it not illegal or immoral, it's what the Fair Credit Reporting Act is all about. You see, the Fair Credit Reporting Act was enacted by Congress for the purpose of protecting you from the intrusion of the credit reporting agencies into your life and the way they go about damaging your credit profile. The sixth myth is paying a past due debt removes it from your credit report. Just because you pay an old debt does not erase the history at one time you were late on it and not paying it on time. But once you leverage the law under the Fair Credit Reporting Act and it gets disputed, it can get deleted or updated showing paid as agreed. Now, the seventh common myth is credit inquiries are not derogatory items and will not affect your credit standards. Well, 1 or 2 credit inquiries is okay. More than that can kind of tell a story of its own, makes it look like you're desperate for credit. So if you're shopping for a loan, try to do your re-shopping within a 14 to 15 day window period, because all of those credit inquiries only hurt you one time. Anything outside of that can hurt your score anywhere from 2 points to 5 points per credit pull. Myth number 8, if you get a derogatory item like a late payment, a collection, or a charge-off deleted from your credit report, it can just come back. Well, the reality is not if it's removed legally, when it's removed with the cause under the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Once it gets removed legally under that law, it cannot go back on your credit report ever again. The ninth common myth is the past equals the future. Well, that's the biggest myth of all. The concept is once bad, always bad, or at least for 7 years, is totally false. You see, anyone can run into hardship, but that doesn't automatically mean that you are a poor credit risk for getting loans. Myth number 10, I cannot restore my credit on my own. The reality is, yes, you can. You can also try to do it yourself, just like you can represent yourself as an attorney in a court of law, but you can also allow an experienced professional to educate you and assist you in restoring your credit profile.